I mean, first I have sympathy for Steven Gerrard. You know, when I see and after, if I was in his socks, you know, let's say, and watching the game and say, why my players didn't play like that when I was in charge? You know, is it because of me or because of their mentality? I mean, all the players, they were so focused on what they had to do today because they're so scared of the new coach because they don't know if they're going to play, that they show their talent. I mean, that was an absolutely fantastic Aston Villa team, and they deserved the win. Talking about Manchester United, yes, there was almost nothing. I mean, they were still on the coach the first 10 minutes, and they started to play. And let's say that for half an hour, they did well. But, well, they did quite well. And I'm not going to talk about Martinez because that's another debate, but because they were all bad. But the second half didn't even exist, didn't even react. As you said, it's the old Manchester United, or the Manchester United we saw at the beginning of the season, where you had almost nothing, you had no stamina, you had no collective effort. It was almost nothing. I was so disappointed with what I watched because it was a team who didn't fight for their colours, and that's of course not enough, especially against a very good Aston Villa team.
I'll tell you what, you've got to give Unai Emery some credit because the biggest thing for me in the game was United couldn't handle Burley coming through the middle.
Right.
Under Gerrard, he's been on the wing and he stood there and stayed there, and we've seen nothing of him. And the one thing I bet United never saw coming was him coming through the middle, because they couldn't handle him today whatsoever.
How is Gerrard feeling? That's a good question.
Well, I would think he's probably brushed it off.
Right.
Yes.
You're not watching it bitterly, going, where was this?
Well, let's be honest. Unai Emery's a better coach.
Yeah, well, certainly.
And he's a more experienced coach. I mean,
but Craig,
What?
Craig, I'm sorry, but you cannot say that it's because you cannot give credit to Emery. Just arrived like 2-3 days ago that he changed dramatically the way Aston Villa played. I mean, of course, he's a very good coach. I saw him many times. But do you really think that he changed? We saw an awful Aston Villa in many games, and now we see a team who clearly completely changed. Is that because of Emery? Really?
No, but I mean, when a new manager comes in, Frank, sometimes you get a bit of a bounce. And Stevie mentioned the Bailey scenario. Also, the other thing that was evident was young Jacob Ramsey, who's a terrific young player, but went off the boil.
Yeah.
When he's making runs through the middle, then that causes a lot of problems for defenders, for midfielders. And look, I say Unai Emery's a better coach. Steven Gerrard may become a great coach one day. I think there's a huge doubt about that. But Unai Emery, he knows his onions.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's managed in several countries. He's had excellent success. And I think ultimately, I don't know where it will take Villa. I mean, depends what money they spend, but it'll be a good appointment. The other side
can we talk about Ronaldo's captaincy? I don't get it. I don't get the fact that he's captain. It's almost like some media-driven thing from the manager to show everything's all right. The other side of the coin, and I'm not blaming Ronaldo for them losing, not at all, but they have not performed well domestically when he's played. That's not really up for debate. When they've had pacey players, Rashford through the middle, and Alanga's played, and I know there was no Jadon Sancho again, but when they've had pacey players through the middle, they've played better. And I honestly, I just don't see the scenario outside the Europa League or the Carabao Cup or whatever it is that I'm putting them in the team.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.